Hello everybody and welcome to men's gymnastics in University Park, where the number 7th ranked Penn State Nittany Lions set to take on the Ohio State Buckeyes, ranked number 6th in the nation. My name is Ethan Zaretsky, joined alongside Matt Solom, getting ready for a very exciting gymnastics meet, a very top-tier matchup between the two Big Ten teams. Matt, what are you most excited for in today's contest? And better off, how are you doing today?
I'm good, Ethan. Thank you. It's an honor to be here. It's a pleasure to be able to jump on this broadcast with you. Most excited today, I'm excited to see the big high-flying moves like that one right there.
Yeah, so starting things off, Will Fleck here on the floor. Going to be starting things off in today's meet for the Penn State Nittany Lions. After him is going to be Justin Saccone for Ohio State. Big news that Matt Cormier is not going to be competing for Penn State, one of the captains for the Nittany Lions. Not eligible tonight for today's meet. The Nittany Lions will go without him.
Will Fleck doing well on floor right now. That split non-acrobatic skill is a requirement. Every athlete will do at least one skill that is classified as a non-acrobatic skill. Good stick there by Will Fleck. Here he goes. Let's see if he can stick the dismount. 2.5. One small hop, but very solid routine by Will Fleck.
Great start for the Nittany Lions, and as I just mentioned, out comes Justin Saccone for Ohio State. In his career, he's averaging 13.95 on the floor, and in 2024, 13.3 as he gets set to take the mat.
Justin, he's a big guy. I've known him for a little while, since we were in high school, and he's very powerful, so I'm expecting a lot of really big gymnastics here from him on floor.
Season high, as you can see, 13.3. Starting off for Ohio State.
And there's one of those big skills I was talking about. Unfortunate that he fell down on that one, but let's see if he can bring it back and keep this routine together. Another very big skill, lands that one much better than the first. And a huge double layout, great stick. This is what I'm talking about, that high-flying gymnastics. He's got a lot of power. He's very bouncy.
Yeah, that was great to see. Great start for the Ohio State Buckeyes.
And as I mentioned before, there's his non-acrobatic skill. It's called a Fedorchenko, or a triple Russian.
Go ahead, Matt.
Oh, he's actually doing a second one. It's a wide arm press. It's very, very tough, especially because your forehead is supposed to be only about your hand width off the ground.
Mm-hmm. Fleck with a 13.55 in his score on the floor. Good stick there by Saccone.
Oh, and a nice stick to finish up the routine. It's a bit uncommon to see that front double full as a dismount, but he rocked it. He did it really well, and it's a pretty good start for the Buckeyes.
Ian Rawble's time now for the Nittany Lions. As his teammates cheer him on to the left of the broadcasting booth. Very excited that you can tune in to coverage of men's gymnastics on Big Ten Plus. Thank you all for spending your Saturday afternoon with us.
Ian Rawble now, the sophomore from Zurich, Switzerland. He's the first captain we've had that wasn't a junior or a senior. Little fumble there on his first pass, but shouldn't be anything to worry about. Bit of a rough start here for Ian Rawble. There's a good stick.
That's a great way to rebound there if you're Ian.
Something really noteworthy about these gymnasts that come from Europe, especially Switzerland, they have some of the best lines in the world in gymnastics. They're just always so tight, so sharp. He makes it look easy.
Yeah, and there's a lot of Europeans on both rosters. A couple coming from the Nittany Lions and a bunch on the side of the Ohio State Buckeyes. Finland, Switzerland, and New Zealand. Well, New Zealand not in Europe, but definitely not from the United States. So you gotta love to see the entire world being represented here in Rec Hall.
Ian here going for the dismount, 2.5 twist. We're gonna see that a lot today. Little hop, but a strong finish after a bit of a shaky start.
Zaccone finished with a 13-3 for the Buckeyes, and now heading out there is Christian Gravoski for the Buckeyes. So right now, Nittany Lions in the lead to start this floor.
And Ethan, this meet today, it's going to be all the way till the end, back and forth. I feel like these teams are so evenly matched.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, 6th and 7th in the country. Gotta love to see this high-ranked Big Ten battle. It's always good when you get two of the best in the country to go against each other here early in the season.
Nice whip 2.5 there. After that initial fall, Grachovski now putting together a solid routine, good stick there. And this non-acrobatic skill is pretty much the only time these gymnasts get to rest when they're in their floor routine. Especially right here, the splits are great. Great time to sit and catch your breath. Make sure you're ready to finish out your routine strong. Ian Raubel posting a 12.55 on floor for Penn State.
What'd you see there, Matt?
He took off. It looked like he took off a little bit sideways. I thought he was going to be okay. It looked like he was just a little bit off balance when he landed. I was a little bit concerned about his ankle. It looked like it might have rolled a little bit, but it looks like he's walking all right.
Now it's Kasper Goncharek for the Nittany Lions. His team, again, hyping him up.
The sophomore here from Poland.
Another nod to Europe here in Rec Hall. As Kasper gets set for his floor routine.
And this kid, Kasper, man, he's one of the funniest people I have ever met. He's one of my best friends on the Penn State team as a former athlete here. Yeah, he's an absolute joy to be around. Everyone loves him.
Yeah, a lot of smiles before the meet.
And a big front 2.5 there to start off his routine. Beautiful 3.5 twisting. Backflip.
Kasper doing great here on his first exercise.
A little score update. Christian Grachovski, 11.15 for the Buckeyes. Great pass there by Kasper.
Forgot to mention a little bit earlier in the broadcast, tonight is the Wear White game for the Penn State Nittany Lions. Gotta love to see all the white here in the crowd and a ton of Buckeye supporters to the right of the broadcasting booth. Gotta love the friends and family from the Ohio State faithful showing out here in University Park.
Good stick there by Kasper as he winds up to finish up the set. Should be a big triple full. He sticks this all the time. And a little hop today, but great routine for Kasper.
Absolutely.
And there's that celebration. Yes, sir, yes, sir, yes, sir.
Team's getting very hype here as the floor is starting to heat up here. Next for Ohio State is going to be Zach Snyder.
Zach Snyder was the Big Ten Freshman of the Week last week. So big things coming from this freshman out of Swisher, Iowa. Great stick on the first pass there. double-double. Little hop, but that was fantastic.
Yeah, that's something we haven't seen yet.
And another connection pass. Snyder now down the side of the floor. Stuck double full. We're going to be seeing that a lot. It's another little rest pass that these athletes are going to be doing. And here goes Snyder getting ready for the dismount. Big triple full, good landing, and that's a great set by the freshman.
As you see Casper Gonchurik's score coming up, 13.3 rather. Now hitting the mat for the Penn State Nittany Lions.
Marceli Karsikas here. The freshman from Finland.
He was absolutely locked in pre-match, had the double AirPods set up in his ears. And he looks locked in here to have a good floor.
Nice double front to start, and then the connection pass. Little bobble there as he rolled up into this press. Shouldn't be anything to worry about too much. And Zach Snyder posted a 13.6 for the Buckeyes. Great set by him.
That's the highest score on the floor so far in this meet.
Marceli looking like he might be a little bit jittery out there. Taking a lot of hops. You really want to see these athletes control the landing, settle down, not move at all. Now he's going to do a pretty unique dismount here. We're not going to see it much. It's a full twisting double back. There it is. And a big stick for the Nittany Lions.
Yeah, that was big for his score. As you alluded to a little bit earlier, didn't look very confident as much as I said he was very locked in, but a great stick at the end of his routine and a great boost on the Nittany Lion bench.
And head coach Randy Jepson is certainly happy about that.
Now Kazuki Hayashi for the Ohio State Buckeyes.
Kazuki, he is a fifth year from Fairfax, Virginia. I've known this guy since I was in high school, since I was a freshman. We used to train together at our club gym. Huge double-double there by him, little hop. And he's also a high flyer. He's got really, really bouncy legs. There's that full twisting double back that we saw Axeli end his set with.
Ohio State coming off of a meet last week against Oklahoma and Arizona State, where they finished in second behind Oklahoma. And in third place came Arizona State.
Little straight leg landing there by Hayashi. Didn't look very comfortable setting up for the dismount.
Finished, sorry Matt. Hayashi finished with 13.9 in last week's floor. We'll see how his score ends up being after that one, but now heading out there for the Nittany Lions is Michael Artlip. As they call him Artie, and chant his name as he gets ready for his floor set.
Michael Artlip, he was my freshman year roommate in the dorms. He's an absolutely brilliant, brilliant guy. He's already completed his undergrad. He's now working on his master's. He's a student in the Schreier Honors College at Penn State. Great first pass by Marty, the nickname that the guys on the team have given him.
And you see Oxeli's score come up on the scoreboard to our left. He has the highest floor score, 13.7. And then Hayashi's score just came in. He finished with a 13.5.
Great triple full stick there by Michael Artlip. And I love that skill, that little B-twist. You don't see it too much, but it's real floaty. And even though it looks like an acrobatic move, he does get credit for a non-acrobatic skill there.
Oh, wow.
Triple connection, that's pretty unusual to see, but he rocks it every time. Michael Artlip now getting ready for the dismount, 2.5 twist. And a big stick, and he's excited.
Yeah, you gotta love to see that excitement coming from Artlip. It's the shush at the end of his set. Right in front of the next competitor, Cameron Nelson. A great routine there by Artlip.
Cameron Nelson, former member of the United States national team. He was on the national team last year. We should see some very good gymnastics out of him today.
Oh, wow, he got
Nice
really high on that
double-double.
one. Not something that you're used to seeing. And that definitely complements the fact that he was on the national team last year.
Huge front double pike into the stick. And he's also trained and competed sometimes a triple backflip, one of the hardest skills that you can do on floor exercise.
Cameron Nelson, one of the captains for the Ohio State Buckeyes, 5'7" senior. Artlip with the highest score, 13.8, coming on the screen right across the floor of the broadcasting booth.
Nelson looked a little bit unstable on those presses, but he held it together well. Huge half and half out by Nelson, big stick, and this is going to be a really good score. He hasn't been doing a whole lot of bouncing around on these landings.
Yeah, this might be the highest score on the floor tonight.
And all these big skills he's doing, it just raises his difficulty. So his maximum score is higher and higher. Every big skill, and a huge triple full stick by Nelson. That's a fantastic set.
And his teammates are showing him a ton of love coming off of the floor.
And that routine is going to wrap up this floor rotation as the athletes now go get set to jump on the pommel horse.
First on the pommel horse is Penn State started on floor. It's me, Christian Grahovsky.
Scissoring skill. Elements that involve interpret, spindle, and skills that turn on the pommel or on the lever. Elements that travel across the horse. And finally,
So what are these gymnasts, Matt, going to be looking for on their pommel horses as they get ready, as Grahovsky gets ready for, to start off the routine?
Pommel horse is one of those events where you either love it or you hate it. So if you're really good at it, you're going to be very confident going in here. But really what we're looking for is just hit routines. Falls. Falls are huge. Scrapes, leg scraping on the horse, big deductions. So we just want to see clean, good circles. We want to make sure that the athletes aren't breaking their body position. We want to see a consistent body position through every circle. Any little deviation from what they established from the beginning will be a deduction.
And just to wrap up what we saw there on the floor, Cameron Nelson finishing with a 14.4, a great score for the Ohio State Buckeyes.
And going into the second rotation, Penn State is leading the Buckeyes by 0.95 tenths, or 0.95.
Yeah, very, very close score after floor, and we'll see if the Buckeyes can edge the Nittany Lions out on the pommel horse. Grahovsky getting ready for his routine as everyone's getting set after the original floor exercise. And what a turnout we have here in Rec Hall. A very beautiful day in University Park, and we got to love to see everyone showing support for both the Nittany Lions and the Ohio State Buckeyes here this afternoon.
Oh yeah, it's amazing to see a bunch of people in here. When I came into Penn State, It was during COVID. We used to compete, pretty much this whole place was empty. So it's really awesome having that crowd energy, and the guys really feed off of it.
Yeah, absolutely. And Matt, we forgot to mention a little bit before in the broadcast, you are an ex-gymnast for the Penn State Nittany Lions. I am just one of the broadcasters, and you're going to be really helping me out as this broadcast, kind of unfolds, and kind of like more of the specifics and what people should be looking out for in each exercise. So really excited to be here with you tonight, and it's honestly a pleasure. I'm very excited, and the energy is high here in Rec Hall.
Yeah, I'm excited too. I've been so used to being out on the competition floor. Being on this side of the desk is a bit weird, but it's fun.
Oh, absolutely. Getting the best of both worlds and experiencing it on the actual floor and compared to behind the broadcasting booth, it's definitely two sets of energies. And as we take a look at the schedule today around the NCAA, and especially in the Big Ten, Michigan beat the Nebraska Cornhuskers at 1 o'clock. That was their meet. Final score was 407.7 for Michigan, and Nebraska ended with a 398.85.
Last weekend, the Nittany Lions were on the road at Nebraska. The Nittany Lions lost 403 to 406 and some change. So a little bit of a dip there by Nebraska as they compete away at Michigan.
Yeah, Michigan number 2 ranked and Nebraska number 3 ranked. So a very similar kind of meeting that we're seeing here. 2 high-ranked Big Ten teams, and whoever's going to come out here is most likely going to overtake the other. If it's Ohio State, they're most likely going to stay above the Nittany Lions in the standings, and if Penn State's able to come out of Rec Hall with a victory, they'll will most likely go ahead of the Ohio State Buckeyes in the rankings.
And as you can see on the screen, Grahofsky, 14.25 career high, 13.4 season high. So this is a really solid pommel horse guy. Should be a good hit to start the Buckeyes off, really get things underway on the second event.
Pommel horse is one of those things I feel like where you really want to start off hot. If your guys are really doing well on the pommel horse, it kind of brings up the energy on the bench and gets your guys excited that are going to be going after you. So something that you can be looking for if you're Christian Grahofsky is really to set the momentum here on the second exercise.
Absolutely, I agree with you. It's kind of interesting for pommel horse because you don't want to get too hyped and kind of feel a little bit jittery going in. You want to be calm, cool, collected, swing nice and smooth. So it is a little bit of a delicate balance between that hype energy and that calm before the storm, we'll say.
Yeah, absolutely. Definitely want to keep your hands tight and being able to grip the pommel horses as best as possible. And Rec Hall's getting hype here.
Looks like Penn State has an inquiry with the judges. Got the iPad pulled up. You can see they're trying to show the judges something that they might have missed on the video.
Yeah, what is normally kind of like the things that one would talk about during these kinds of interactions?
So the coaches are talking to the judges. Maybe the judges miscalculated a start value, so they can get some extra tenths back there, or maybe they didn't get the stick bonus. Like we saw from Michael Artlip, he got the stick at the end of his routine. When you stick your dismount, excluding pommel horse, it's a 1/10 bonus. So if you didn't get that bonus, the coaches are going to be looking for that because every 10th counts.
And we just saw Randy Jepson there at the table talking things over with some of the judges. It's Jepson's 33rd season as head coach of the Nittany Lions. He's part of the team and graduated in 1982 after being from Oregon, as we were talking a little bit about before the broadcast.
Yeah, Coach Jepson, he was a NCAA gymnast himself at the University of Oregon. Unfortunately, their program got cut while he was a student, and he ended up transferring to Penn State, finishing out his senior year here in University Park, and he loved the energy at Penn State and kept with it ever since.
You see the head coach now on the screen, Rustem Sharapov, 3-time Olympic gold medalist, including 2 of them being gold. Hyping his Buckeyes up right now before the pommel horse, and looks like we're ready to get started here on the horse.
And Rustam he's a big name in gymnastics. He's a very, very well-known figure in the sport.
Definitely great to have a leader like Rustam and Jepson for either side of these teams. And here we go, Christian Grahofsky.
It's a nice scissor. We want to be looking for those scissors. We want to be looking for elevation above the horse, keeping your legs as far apart as you can. Now moving into the one pommel work. That looked phenomenal. And this is a good set so far. No breaks, breaking out into the flares. Bit of a breakdancing move.
Look at that.
Forward and backward travel in the flare. Oh, little break there and lost his balance. Came off the horse. So he's now going to get 30 seconds to jump back up and finish his routine. Grochowski back up on the pommel horse. Looking a little bit uncomfortable right now, but he gets that dismount finished out.
And definitely not the way that the Buckeyes wanted to start on the pommel horse, and now getting set, getting the chalk on his hands is Derek Schlagenhoff. They're going to get things going for the Nittany Lions.
Derek, a junior from Windsor, Colorado. He's a horse specialist. This is all he does. This is his bread and butter.
You see the lineup on the screen. Dick, Giroux, Simpson, and Carnes going to be going in the pommel horse for the Nittany Lions this afternoon.
And here goes Derek getting started for the Nittany Lions. Derek has struggled pretty much his whole time at Penn State, just finishing out routines and having the energy to get his dismount up to a handstand at the end. You'll see that soon. Christian Grochowski did a Russian dismount, that little quick spin around. Derek going to do something a little bit different. Good scissor there by Derek.
A lot quicker.
Yeah, looking a lot more comfortable than Grochowski did.
Yeah, absolutely. Just going to mention that. He's doing very well on the one pommel grab.
That skill right there called a sewn. Very hard skill, and he gets the dismount up. As I was talking about before, he struggled a little bit with having the energy, but the team's hyped. Penn State's definitely hyped for that.
Grochowski with a 12.5 score, 12.5 rather. Schlagenhoff hype coming back to the Penn State side. Now up for the Ohio State Buckeyes is going to be Tyler Rockwood. Matt, why don't you talk a little bit about what are these cups on the back of it? Because you see it a lot on a lot of these gymnasts, and kind of like, I guess you said it helps with their blood circulation. Why don't you talk a little bit about that and the strategy behind using those cups?
Yeah, you can see on his neck and on his shoulder, he's got these little like circular bruises. So the cupping is like a recovery technique where you take plastic suction cups and you pretty much suck the skin up inside the suction cup, and it really promotes blood flow to the area, try to keep the muscles loose. Rockwood a little slow on these circles, but good set so far, staying on. That's what we're looking for. And it's going to be hugely important for Rockwood to get this set after Grochowski fell so that they can stay in it against the Nittany Lions.
Able to get the dismount off there. Great recovery by the Buckeyes and a great routine there by Rockwood.
Derek Schlagenhoff, 13.15 on pommel horse.
Now Ethan Dick for the Penn State Nittany Lions.
A senior from Auckland, New Zealand, and one of my roommates. Ethan, a very solid pommel horse swinger. Great first skill there.
Very comfortable on this pommel horse is Ethan Dick.
Ethan really looking in his element right now. A little leg split there. That skill called a Magyar. This one called a Salvato. And he gets the dismount up very well. Good hit for the Nittany Lions.
Tyler Rockwood just before Ethan Dick finished with a 12.9, the second middle score rather in the pommel horse. Now Michael Wynn for the Ohio State Buckeyes, and energy definitely ramping up on the Penn State side.
Little scream there by Ethan, and this guy, he's always got a gallon of chocolate milk on him, man. He's got ice cold chocolate milk running through his veins.
It's that creamery milk, man. It's so good.
Oh, yeah, man.
If you guys haven't tried it out, definitely check out the Berkey Creamery here on Penn State's campus if you haven't been, or if you're visiting. It's definitely a #1 destination here on the campus of Penn State.
Here goes Michael Wynn for the Buckeyes. Gonna be looking to answer Ethan's great set there. Wynn breaking out into those flares we saw earlier. Ooh, and it looked like his elbow buckled there a little bit when he put his hand back down.
So he's going to get a chance to reset, is that right?
That's right. So when you fall, that's a 1-point deduction. So he's automatically losing a point off of his score there. But he gets 30 seconds to chalk back up, settle himself, collect his thoughts, try to put the fall out of his memory, and get back up and finish strong.
Ethan Dick finishing that last pommel horse with a 5.3 on difficulty and an 8.45 on the execution. Great score for Ethan Dick.
Yeah, Ethan, our new pommel horse leader with the 13.75. Michael Wynn looking much more comfortable in these flares now. Oh, little hand slip there. Got a little bit out of control, but it looks like the judges are gonna give him credit for the dismount, so he's not gonna have to jump back up and redo it.
And that's big for him, as he already had an issue before. He was able to reset, and now Michael Giroux for the Penn State Nittany Lions. Had an opportunity to speak with him a little bit before the teams were warming up. He's extremely excited for today's match. He always loves the wear white game. Michael's pre-game meal, he loves breakfast on bowl, loves getting those hash brown platters and then stuffing in some pasta for today's meet.
Yeah, Mike's been a huge breakfast guy even since freshman year. And he's such a sweet kid. He's got one of the best hearts I know, and he's a great pommel horse swinger. We're expecting a really good, clean set here out of Michael Giroux, the senior from Northville, Michigan.
Very comfortable on this exercise.
There's that sewn again that we saw. He didn't get his hand back onto the pommel after that full spin, so he's not going to get credit for that skill. Nice Magyar Salvato.
They're picking up the speed now is Giroux.
And the dismount always flies up, a little bit out of control, just like Michael Wynn, but again, he gets credit. He's not going to take that point deduction for the fall, and it's another solid hit for the Nittany Lions.
Able to smile that one off. He's always got a ton of energy and just a super energetic guy and a great person to be around. And I'm sure even a better teammate.
Oh yeah, you can see him right there. He looks relieved. Little flex for the camera.
As he does a little celebration right in front of the broadcasting booth. And now up for the Ohio State Buckeyes, Jesse Pucali, the Hawaii native. Studied at the University of Hawaii Technology Academy. Very smart individual.
Ooh, a little shaky there for Pucali, but he saves it well.
What's that move called there when he swings around like that? That was very interesting. Haven't seen that so far.
It's called a Roth.
Interesting.
Ooh.
Yeah, but he's going to have to reset here.
And he's not going to get credit for that Salvato, that skill, because he did not make it back to the end and circle out. So if he wants to have that count towards his difficulty score, he's going to have to redo that.
Giroux finishing with a 12.85 in his pommel horse routine.
Pucali set to get back up. Looks like he's not going to redo the Salvato. Might have gotten credit for it then. And a nice dismount. It always sucks when you fall right before the dismount. That's the only skill you have left. You're so close to making it to the end. But it's a good recovery there. Didn't give away any unnecessary deductions as he jumped back up to finish that up.
Landon Simpson now for Penn State.
Landon from the State College area. He's been coming on to visit the campus, hang out with the team since he was pretty young, taking unofficial visits, just hanging out. He really felt like he was a part of this Nittany Lions team before he even got here this year as a freshman.
Yeah, I'm sure being just outside of University Park, Bellefonte to be exact. Went to Bellefonte area high school, freshman and all-around guy. Again, looking very comfortable on the pommel horse. Great moves by Simpson.
Yeah, great flares here. Great amplitude on his legs. Stand really high above those pommels is what we want to see. And the dismount here. And that's a great set by the freshman, Landon Simpson. That's going to be a huge score.
That's phenomenal. Rec Hall getting very hype here. A couple of fans and friends and family standing on their feet. The guys love that one as the Nittany Lion chant is roaring here in Rec Hall. Gotta love to see the energy being hyped up.
Getting set right now for the Buckeyes is Parker Thaxton. Excellent horse swinger. And Pakali an 11.0.
As we look back at took a look at those flares from Simpson, really extending those legs and being able to adjust himself very nicely and swinging at a very high rate of speed.
Thaxton now, the final team counting score for the Buckeyes. They will have one more athlete go, Cameron Nelson, after. Just sixth guy. His score will not count for the all-around, or I'm sorry, for the team score. It will only count for his individual all-around score. And there's that zone again that we saw. Giroux didn't quite get it all the way back around. Derek did it really well, and Parker Thaxton here coming off the horse, getting reset.
That's the third Buckeye that's had to get off the pommel horse. Is that something that's like very common, or is that having to reset like that?
Yeah, if you fall, horse is it's a really, you either hit it or you're coming off.
Yeah.
You're either hitting a great set. It's really hard to fight when you're on pommel horse. Any little, that bazoogo there, it's like a reverse zone. Very cool skill, super unique.
And again, having to reset is Simpson, or rather that's Thaxton. Simpson finished with a 13.45, 8.15 on the execution score.
The pommel horse, one of the weaker events for the Buckeyes. So they're really going to be looking to bring it back on the still rings, one of their stronger events right after this. Thaxton, good one pommel work as he gets towards the end of his set. Here's that Russian dismount. Oh, just kidding, just a Russian. And there's the dismount. Finishes up well after that second fall. Trying to do a little bit of damage control for the Buckeyes here. Not a ideal performance.
Now heading to the horse for the Penn State Nittany Lions is Josh Carnes, the junior from Erie, Pennsylvania, another local, semi-local guy. Erie just a few hours northwest of campus of Penn State.
Josh is an absolute animal. He's a phenomenal gymnast. Been struggling with injuries here and there since he got to Penn State, but former national team member as he gets set to start his pommel horse. First event for him here today.
He'll also be competing in the vault, key bars, and high bars. Pretty much everything except for floor and rings for Carnes.
And he was telling me before the meet started, he was a little bit upset that the coaches didn't put him in on rings because he loves contesting these really strong ring specialists. His lines are so good. He's very clean, very execution-focused gymnast.
Very similar flares that Carnes is putting on that
that we saw from Landon Simpson. And Josh gets that dismount up very well. He's happy, clapping. Coach Jepson looks happy. That was a very good second rotation by the Nittany Lions.
Thaxton previously finishing with an 11.65 on the pommel horse.
So with Carnes finishing there, that's going to be the last of the team routines that are going to count towards these guys' team scores. But as I mentioned before, Nelson getting ready to go for his all-around score.
Waiting for Carnes' score to come in, but you see the scores popping on the left side of your screen. Great pommel horse. Round 4, the Nittany Lions.
And these all-around guys, even though they don't have to compete on all 6 events every time, Cameron likely doing this to get some practice doing all-around before he goes to Winter Cup later this month to try to get his spot back on the national team.
Why don't you tell the viewers a little bit about the Winter Cup and kind of what the preparation goes into that?
Yeah, it's big. It's a 2-day competition, back-to-back days, so it's a lot for these athletes to try to prepare for and then go and compete. But Cam, he looks happy with that set. It's a good hit. But yeah, Winter Cup, one of 2 opportunities to make the national team throughout the year. There's also U.S. Championships in the summer. So it's a 6-month cycle on switching out guys from the national team.
So Carnes' score came in for the pommel horse. Finished second out of all competitors. Top score on the pommel horse is Ethan Dick. Josh Carnes coming in second. The top 2 scores on the pommel horse coming from the Nittany Lions. So definitely a great exercise coming right after the floor. And Penn State still leads, scores 133.7 to 125.8 after 2 exercises.
And that was a huge rotation for the Nittany Lions. As I said before horse started, you want to see hits on pommel horse. And Penn State did that, and they've got a pretty considerable lead here going into the 3rd event.
As everyone gets set to go to the rings, the first competitor on the rings is going to be the Nittany Lions' Matthew Underhill.
Matthew Underhill, the sophomore from Oconomowoc, Wisconsin. And this kid's brilliant too. Also in the Schreier Honors College. He's a finance major. He is part of the Nittany Lion Fund. It's a student-run hedge fund that manages like $12.5 million, I think.
Wow.
So he loves it. That's what he wants to do, and he doesn't let gymnastics kind of get in the way of what he's doing outside.
As you see the season averages and the season highs on the still rings, Ohio State just above the Nittany Lions nationally. As you said just a little bit ago, Matt, that the rings are a bit of the Buckeye specialty.
Yeah, these Buckeyes, they got a lot of strong guys, namely Donovan Hewitt. He's a huge ring guy for them.
Yeah, one of the captains actually in law school right now. We're talking to one of the assistant coaches before the meet started. First year in law school for Donovan Hewitt, so congratulations to him and best of luck to him in his future endeavors. We'll see him a little bit later in the ring set, but starting off with the Nittany Lions is Matthew Underhill.
Matt Underhill, this kid is insanely strong. We're going to see a lot of big moves out of him.
He's going to be competing in the rings and the vault today.
His nickname is Mucho. That's what his teammates called him when he was in high school, and it kind of just transferred over here. When I was on the team and he joined, there were 3 mats, so we had to get a little bit creative to differentiate who's who.
Love it.
There's another big strength move, that one called a Maltese. Solid handstand here.
Great composure by Underhill.
A little shaky after that giant. There's the Janssen and Yamawaki. Those are going to be 2 very common skills we see in pretty much every set today. It's a nice little strength rest for the guys. As Underhill gets ready to put down this dismount, double twisty, double back. As he sets his hands down, it's going to be a 1-point deduction, but minutes of the dismount, that set was looking really, really good, and he should still put up a solid score.
Now heading to the rings first for the Buckeyes, Arthur Ashton. Ashton, an all-around guy, 5'8" junior from Mason, Ohio, so local guy. He's going to be heading on the rings first for Ohio State.
Assistant Coach Kaz there lifting up Ashton, the first Buckeyes competitor to go on rings.
Kaz's 13th season as assistant head coach for the Buckeyes. In the school, graduated from the School of Superior Physical Education in Havana, Cuba.
There's that Yamawaki and Giannisson again. The Giannisson, the piked version. And Ashton here looking really solid in these handstands. We want to, when these athletes are in the handstands, we want to make sure that their arms are off the straps, their arms are straight, their feet can't be on the cables, helping them balance. Ooh, and a very unique dismount, front double pike. You don't see that too often, and that was big, a good landing. It's a good start for the Buckeyes.
Yeah, and that perfectly goes to what we were talking a little bit about, the rings being a specialty for the Ohio State Buckeyes. Great start for the visiting Buckeyes.
Ohio State looking hyped after that set.
Sparrow heading out to the rings now for the Nittany Lions. As we get Matthew Underhill's score, finished with a 13 flat.
Without that fall, he's likely putting up either a high 13 or over a 14. Luke also incredibly strong here. That's called a straight planche. You could also see it in a straddled position with the legs apart, makes it a little bit easier. But this guy's so strong, he doesn't need to do that. Little straight body press. And some solid handstands. When Luke came into Penn State at the beginning of this year, he was anticipated to really just be a ring specialist, but he's proved himself in training to be better than that in other events, and he's able to contribute a little bit more than just on rings as initially thought.
Sparrow doing a great job on these rings.
Wow.
Let's see how he dismounts.
Overshot that giant a little bit and just pressed back up to the handstand. That was crazy strength and a good stick there by Lucas Sparrow.
Great rebound for the Nittany Lions. Arthur Ashton finishing just above Matthew Underhill by a half a point. Finishing with a 13.5. Now Tyler Rockwood, as we get a replay of Lucas Sparrow and his dismount. Great stick, as you just mentioned.
I want to say this for anyone that might have just joined our broadcast. I'll say it again. Those sticks are hugely important. When you move your feet on a landing, the judges will deduct off of your score, but if you stick, you get an added 10th, plus you don't get those deductions. So it's likely to be like a 4/10 swing for a stick versus not a stick.
Which can be really big when it comes down to the end. You said a little bit earlier in the broadcast that this is really going to come down to a couple of points, potentially two highly ranked teams, and every point matters here, Matt.
Yeah, absolutely. Tyler Rockwood looking very good on the rings. Not too many little deductions. His toes coming apart a little bit here and there, but nothing really to be concerned about as he dismounts. Double-double, and a good stick there. And the Buckeyes are definitely excited about that one.
A great bounce back in the first half for the Ohio State Buckeyes, really doing well on these rings, and friends and family in the stands getting a lot more rowdy than they were during the floor and pommel horse exercises.
Next
Mike Giroux taking a couple of deep breaths in front of the broadcasting booth as he makes his way over to the rings. He's going to be competing after just a few people.
Here goes Ian Raubel for the Nittany Lions.
Did a great job on the floor. Let's see how he does here on the still rings. Career high 14.5 points.
Huge strength move there by Ian. That's called a Hanma into the Maltese and into the iron cross. This routine is jam-packed with strength.
Yeah, that iron cross is the first one that we saw so far in these ring sets.
Tyler Rockwood score 14.1. New rings leader here today. Ian making those look so effortless.
Raubel doing a great job on the rings, getting hyped up by his teammates.
Looking a little bit tired here before the dismount, but he gets it down to his feet. Small hop. It's going to be 3/10 from not sticking that dismount, but he's going to be happy about that one. Little flex in front of the broadcasting desk.
Gotta love to see that when, you know, maybe some things don't go your way on the rings or on the mat, or in that matter, whatever exercise you're doing, just be able to, you know, kind of put that to the side and, you know, kind of just show your confidence and put that to the side and kind of look forward to the next exercise. And
yeah, gymnastics is all about having short-term memory loss. If something goes wrong, you need to push it out of your mind, get back into your flow, back into your rhythm. And that's exactly what the Buckeyes are doing here on rings.
Yeah, a lot of opportunities to kind of rebound depending on how many exercises you are doing, and a lot of all-around guys here in Rec Hall. We appreciate you tuning into today's broadcast on Big Ten Plus. Ethan Zaretsky joined alongside Matt Sullum. Now on the rings is Jesse Bukali. Penn State ahead of the Ohio State Buckeyes. The team total just around 6 points, so Buckeyes cutting the score a little bit close here on the rings.
That cross looked like it might have been a little bit short. We're looking for full 2-second holds on all of these strength moves, and that time doesn't start until you quit moving. So if you're lowering down, that's not counting for your 2 seconds until you fully stop. Same with these handstands. That one looked a little bit short. And a nice laid out, full twisting, double back for Bukali. A good hit there for the Buckeyes.
Ian Raubel finished with a 13.25 for Penn State Nittany Lions. Now next on the rings is going to be Michael Giroux. Good angle right behind the ring set, and kind of see the crowd to the left. A great support from both teams on the Wear White night here in Rec Hall.
As Giroux gets ready here, I'm not expecting too much strength in this routine. Not like a lot of the specialists. Giroux, a very good all-arounder, but he's always in rings lineup. He puts up very clean sets. Always got his toes pointed, very nice lines, great basics. So this may not be the most difficult set we see today, but I foresee it being certainly one of our top scorers. Season high of 13.75 and a career high of 14.35. But let's see what he can put up here today. That skill right there, called a Nazarian cross, very hard. Made it look easy.
First one that we've seen.
And a little spoiler, we'll see another one of those by Nate Warren for the Nittany Lions. Very, very late in the set, which is uncommon. Great amplitude on the Yamawaki and the Giannis in there by Giroux. And a solid handstand. He's not moving at all.
Giroux doing a great job on these rings.
Here he goes, gearing up for the dismount. Double twisting, double back. That's a great set for the Nittany Lions.
Not the exact way he wanted to finish it, but he'll take it. Great ring set there by Michael Giroux.
Yeah, man, as gymnasts, we'll always take landing on your feet over something else.
Absolutely. Jesse Pucali, who went right before Michael Giroux, finished with a 12.8 on the rings.
Here's a look at Donovan Hewitt chalking up for his ring set. Career high of 14.6. High score this season, 13.95 on the still rings. And I'm expecting a lot of strength by this guy.
Very strong gentleman for the Ohio State Buckeyes. His season high on the rings, 13.95, like you just said, in his career, 14.6. So we'll see how he does on the rings today.
There's some of those strength moves. A planche lowered into the Maltese. Looked like he got good 2-second holds on both. And Giroux, a 13.9 for the Nittany Lions on rings, 8.8 execution score. That is a very good score. It means he did his routine pretty perfectly. Hewitt here getting a little bit shaky in the handstands before the dismount, but he puts it down well. He's happy. Huge clap.
Ohio State doing very well on the rings today. Now the last Penn State Nittany Lion on the rings today is going to be Nathaniel Warren. Warren, a specialist at the P-bars and the rings, graduate student from Center Hall, Pennsylvania. Went to Penns Valley High, not too far away here from Rec Hall, just about a 20-25 minute drive. So a local guy, a lot of support being shown from the Nittany Lion faithful here on the campus of Penn State.
And Ethan, we're probably gonna hear a chant here by these guys. They say, how strong, so strong, 3 times while Nate's going. Let's see if they do it today. Azarian Maltese there. Great hold. Into the iron cross. Excellent hold there as well. Straight planche. This is a very difficult routine by Warren.
Definitely pushing himself on these rings, doing a great job keeping composure.
That Azarian cross we saw from Giroux, there's Nate doing it. Very late in the set, highly unusual. You want to get those strength skills out when you're the most fresh.
He looked comfortable on the second time he did it compared to his first time, which is something that you're not used to seeing, but doing well on the end of his set is Nathaniel Warren.
And a nice half and half out, small hop. He's been trying to upgrade his dismount, adding an extra half twist to that, but it hasn't been going too well when he competes it. He's been falling a lot, so it looks like they dialed it back and let him do the easy dismount, and that's going to be a good score for the Nittany Lions.
For sure, but the top 2 scores on the rings are going to come from the Ohio State Buckeyes. As we await Nathaniel Warren's score, could be wrong on that, but as of right now, 14 flat and a 14-1 for Rockwood and Hewitt, the top 2 scores on the rings, and going for the all-around and not including the team score is going to be Cameron Nelson again, and then Christian Grahovsky. As Nelson gets set. Or Cameron Nelson, rather, is going to be going for the team, and going for his all-around is going to be Christian Grachowski. My apologies.
Maltese there by Nelson. Ooh, and that's a very unique skill, the inverted cross. First time we've seen that today.
And that's what you get when you're an Olympic-level gymnast. Show the skills that haven't been shown already.
And making them look easy.
Absolutely. I mean, no shaking there from Cameron Nelson.
And another solid planche deep in the set. Little leg split there through the bottom on the giant. Nothing too bad. And a stick would be huge here for the Buckeyes as he gears up for the dismount. And a big stick.
That was massive for the Ohio State Buckeyes. Great finish on the rings.
Giving assistant coach Kaz a nice bear hug after.
You gotta love the celebrations that some of these gymnasts show, and everyone getting set for halftime. Gonna take a little bit of a break soon, but as you see, the scores on the still rings for the Ohio State Buckeyes. Doing very well is Hewitt and Rockwood. Christian Grachowski will be doing the rings, I believe, for his all-arounds. If not, we'll be getting set for halftime, and as we head to the floor, or rather the vault.
Yeah, it looks like they've already moved into the halftime, getting warmed up on the last 3 events.
And we'll take a look at that great stick at the end of Nelson's routine. And we'll take a little bit of a break as we'll have a 6-minute halftime break. Again, Ethan Zaretsky alongside Matt Sullum here on Big Ten Network. We appreciate you tuning in on this very great evening here in University Park. We'll be back very shortly.
Fans, we ask you please turn your attention to the floor as we recognize Penn State's 2004 National Championship team. This team has won 11 national titles, hosting 3 Gymnastics during history, and had their first NCAA all-around since 1973. Fans, give us a warm welcome as we welcome back the 2014 captain, Duke Penn. The best bookstore, which is a bookstore of Penn State athletics, has got everything Penn State for students, alumni, and fans. For all your Penn State gear, this is the Penn State bookstore in the heart of campus. And if you need a break or a place to study, check out the Penn State Bookstore.net. The Penn State Bookstore, the official bookstore of Penn State Athletics. All right, ladies, it's now time for the PSSCU Shuffle. Please turn your attention to the leaderboard. Keep your eyes on where the PSSCU logo will land. Welcome to the Shuffle. Your event and your finish. I've already lost it myself, so I will need your help. What do you think the PSSCU logo is? Number 1, 2, or 3? Shuffle.
Between the Penn State Nittany Lions and the Ohio State Buckeyes. Ethan Zareski joined alongside Matt Sullum, here to provide you a great broadcast here on this beautiful late afternoon in University Park. We're happy that you guys could join us, and we're happy that you decided to join us here on Big Ten Plus. Take a look at the scores at halftime. They just flashed on your screen, but if you had happened to miss them, you get a live look after everyone finished the rings. Penn State did a great job to start the meet on the floor. Current score is 200.85 for the Nittany Lions and 194.4 for the Ohio State Buckeyes. We're just under a minute to go.
And as I anticipated, Ohio State really able to bring down that score gap, bring it in a little bit closer as we move into the second half.
They did a great job on the rings, as you can see, edging out the Penn State Nittany Lions by just above 1 point. Penn State did a great job in gaining some traction on the pommel horse, kind of separating that lead. And Ohio State did a great job on the rings to kind of bring that deficit a little bit closer. As teams get set for the vault.
10 seconds left remaining here in the halftime as the athletes get warmed up, take one last final touch on the last 3 events.
Ohio State will be starting first on the vault. Zach Snyder will lead things off for the Buckeyes. Michael Artlip going second, representing the Penn State University. The top score came in the last exercise for the Ohio State Buckeyes. Cameron Nelson finishing with a 14.2 on the rings. So the top 3 scores on the rings came from the Ohio State Buckeyes. As we get ready for the vault.
The vault here, this is one of Ohio State's best events. They're looking very good. Tied 3rd rank in the country on the vault. Ohio State, that is.
And that's by far their best, as you just alluded to. They're ranked 6th on the floor and the rings, but we'll really see how this competition will lay out depending on how the Buckeyes are able to do on the vault. We appreciate all you tuning in on Big Ten Plus as everyone heads to the vault area, getting ready for the 4th exercise in today's meet between the Nittany Lions and the Buckeyes. During halftime, the 2004 Penn State national team that won the national championship in that year, was congratulated and honored on the floor during halftime. Great to see some of those members come back and reconnect with Randy Jepson for a couple of minutes during halftime. Penn State huddling up to our left, going through some game plans.
Little pep talk there.
Half. Yep, go ahead.
Yeah, a little pep talk there by Matt Cormier. Even though he's not competing here today, he's a very strong leader, and the guys really rely on him for a lot of energy.
Yeah, definitely. As a captain, competing or not, you definitely want to set the tempo and make sure everyone's in line and locked in to pick up as many points and come out with a victory. Zach Snyder gets set for his vault.
Once again, Zach Snyder, the Big Ten Freshman of the Week last week, doing great things already in his first season in the NCAA. As he gets ready for vault. And And a great 2.5 there, just a small hop. Stayed within those lines on the mat, on the landing, which is exactly what you want to see. And that's a great start for the Buckeyes on vault.
One of the quicker exercises as teams pretty much go back and forth, one after the other. Michael Artlip now on the vault for the Nittany Lions.
Zach Snyder's score already posted, 14.45. And Michael Artlip here, he is a very phenomenal and consistent vaulter. He sticks just about every time he does this vault, so knock on wood, I don't jinx him now.
The broadcaster jinx is very real. As this is your first broadcast, you might already know that when you put things into existence, anything can come right back to you, and you know that comes in good ways and bad ways as Artlip steps on the mat for his vault.
Artlip got a lot of nicknames. The Jets, Artie Money Shoes.
Artie, of course.
Here he goes. We're going to see a double twist. Yurchenko here. Different approach than Snyder. And a small hop, and he goes out of bounds. That's going to be a small neutral deduction.
A 9.25 execution score for Zach Snyder. Great start for the Buckeyes into the second half of this meet. Now Kazuki Hayashi getting ready for his vault. Hayashi, the all-arounder, a senior from Fairfax, Virginia. Went to Robinson Secondary School in the DMV area. As you see his season and career highs on screen. Getting ready.
Here goes Hayashi. He's been pushing really hard, training this 2.5 twist that we saw from Zach Snyder. Let's see if he'll do it here today. Just the double full, couple of little baby hops, but he stayed in bounds, no neutral deduction.
And as Artlip's score comes on the screen, Ohio State already with a big lead in the vault. Like you said, this is one of their better exercises, ranking fourth national, or tied third nationally rather.
And Ohio State here slowly closing this gap on Penn State as we get into the back half of today's event. 14.0 by Hayashi. It's a great score.
Now within pretty much 6 points of the Nittany Lions, as you said, closing that gap. Very important here, heading into already in the second half.
Matthew Underhill here, gonna see a big 2.5 from him. And he's got those feet out of bounds, but he stays on his feet, and that's exactly what the Nittany Lions are looking for.
Underhill happy after that one, getting a couple of high fives on the Nittany Lions bench.
Looking a lot more pleased after that performance than he did after his ring set.
Kazuki Hayashi finished his vault with a 14 flat. Buckeyes with the two highest scores to start the vault. Now Donovan Hewitt for the Ohio State Buckeyes, getting all chucked up before his vault. The law school senior.
Hewitt salutes and steps onto the runway. Big little run out off of that 2.5, but solid vault there. 14.8 career high.
Underhill finished his vault with a 14.1. Just a 10th over Hayashi. Nittany Lions now barely holding on to that lead that they so graciously had in the first half of the first three events. The Buckeyes now within just a couple of points.
Yeah, and the Buckeyes are doing very well to bring this back and keep it close after a shaky performance on pommel horse. That's one of their weaker events, but rings and vault, solid for the Buckeyes, so they're going to be looking to take the lead here soon if they keep moving like this.
Yeah, they ranked 10th on the pommel horse, but 4th in vault, so this is really where their bread and butter is.
Nice 2.5 there by Landon Simpson. A bit crooked off to the side. Steps 1 foot out of bounds. You can see Nelson chalking up his feet, getting ready for his vault. And he's going to do a different entry than we've seen any other guys do today. Instead of kind of going around the table sideways and flipping backwards, he's going to be just head-on approach and flipping forwards with a double twist.
See how Nelson executes his vault. Landon Simpson finished with a 14.15. Scores are getting higher as you get deeper into this vault.
Nelson now a good vault. 1 step out of bounds. And that's going to be a good score for the Buckeyes as they inch closer and closer to the Nittany Lions.
So now I'm taking a look at the vault, and they're switching these pads that the gymnasts jump on. What's kind of the strategy between that? Does it just depend on how tall one is? But
yeah, so they're moving the springboards forward and backwards. Everyone has their own preference of how far away from the table they want it to be. Did Cameron just use that orange one, the orange springboard?
yes, he did. Yep.
Yeah, so Ohio State likely brought that with them,
Okay.
so that they feel more comfortable using equipment that they're familiar with.
That's great. And that definitely gives the advantage to the Buckeyes.
As Josh Carnes here,
Yep, Carnes getting ready for his vault.
big 2.5. And that's a good landing. Grabbing his back there as he gets off the mat.
Nelson with the highest score on the vault so far, 14.45.
Tied with Zach Snyder.
Now for the Ohio State Buckeyes, Justin Saccone, go ahead.
Yeah, Saccone back again. Like I said on floor, he's a really powerful guy, so this should be a huge vault, lots of height.
Saccone, the all-arounder from Rochester, New York.
And if I'm not mistaken, I think he's going to do a handspring double front here. Yep, there it is. And he puts it down. Excellent vault there by Saccone. And that is probably going to be our new vault leader. And he is hyped as he runs back over to his team right now.
We'll wait and see his score as Josh Carnes comes in, 14.25 for Carnes. All gymnasts doing very well on the vault today. Just 2 more gymnasts on the vault. Or rather, this might be the last one. Michael Giroux getting ready for a vault. Saccone gets a 14.05. Thought we might have seen a higher score from Saccone's vault, but that not being the case. Michael Giroux now ready.
Yeah, it looks like the judges really hammered Saccone on that vault for landing so low in that squat. Giroux here, 2.5. And a little tiny step right on the center line. That's exactly what you want to see. No feet out of bounds. No unnecessary deductions. And that's a great vault by Giroux as he trips on the mat.
We saw him very frustrated in his warm-ups at the vault. not being able to stick the way that he wanted to, but it really only matters when he's doing it during the game. So a great land by Giroux, and that's going to really help the Penn State Nittany Lions.
He is our
at the
new
end of this vault.
vault leader with a 14.5. Already got Giroux's score posted.
Great job by Giroux, and he's hype after that one. Gotta love when he shows his energy, and it definitely hypes up his teammates. And Grachowski not going to be doing the vault for his all-around.
Yeah, Ethan, I don't know if you remember on floor, Grachowski looked like he might have rolled his ankle on that dismount on the triple full. So it looks like they've pulled him out of these all-around spots. Try to save his body a little bit.
Now to the P-bars. Kasper Goncharik is going to start off for the Penn State Nittany Lions, leading off. As we see the scores for the Ohio State vault, finishing with a 71.1.
Leading off for Penn State, parallel bars.
Kasper salutes as he gets ready to jump up on the P-bars. Kasper very good on this event. He's a little bit on the taller side, so we're really going to want to watch out if he does any underbar skills where you swing below the bars. Got to make sure his feet don't touch the mat. That skill right there called a Healy, very nice.
What do the deductions look like if he were to hit the mat?
If you scrape the mat, like he just did there, it's, I believe, only 1/10. And if you hit the mat very hard and it makes a noise, then it's 5/10.
So a lot of points that can be taken away here in the P-bars. Goncharik doing very well in his routine.
A little short on that stutz there, not quite getting to the handstand, but he recovers well as he gets ready for this dismount. Double front flip here. Oh, almost got the stick. One little hop. He said no clock.
No, I love that. Goncharik with a ton of energy on the Penn State side.
These guys love talking about all-day work, no clock. It doesn't matter what time of day, what day it is. They're always on the grind, always working. Kasper referencing that there in his celly after the set.
The Nittany Lions still in the lead after 4 exercises. Scores 271.7 to 265.5. Again, just want to reiterate, we appreciate everyone tuning in to men's gymnastics here on Big Ten Plus as the Nittany Lions host the Ohio State Buckeyes, number 6 and number 7 in the country, as Kasper Goncharik's score comes in at 13.4.
As I mentioned, Kasper's on the taller side for gymnasts, so it looks like they had to raise the bars up 1 notch for him as the Ohio State coaching staff gets him set up for Jacob Murray here.
This is both teams' last meet before the Winter Cup in 2 weeks. Both teams will get a week off to kind of rest. And then right to Louisville, Kentucky. You see Jacob Murray on the P-bars.
Looking very confident here, hitting all of his handstands very nicely. Not going to get credit for that whip it there. And that's going to hurt his score, but he looks comfortable as he finishes up. There's that double front we saw Kasper do. 1 small hop, and that's a good finish to his set, even with that little bobble there towards the end.
Going next on the P-bars is Landon Simpson. He gets comfortable with the bars, adjusting. After Jacob Murray went, still awaiting his score.
And I don't think a lot of people realize how important this period of setting the bars really is for these athletes. When they're even slightly too wide or slightly too narrow, you feel way off. You're not comfortable up there. So it's important to double and triple check as you get some more chalk on the bars.
And it really varies. I mean, you go from Jacob Murray, who's 5'6", and then right off to Landon Simpson, who's just an inch taller than him, and that could just make all the difference. 12.5 for Jacob Murray on the P-bars.
Nice peach there. He takes a couple steps. It's going to be 1/10 for each step he takes in deduction. And that's something Coach Jepson has really worked on with this team, is being confident when your hands are slightly not, just slightly asymmetrical. You know, they don't have to be right next to each other to do skills well. So Landon doing a good job here, not moving his hands. That skill right there called a Peters, very unique. Don't see that too often. And that double front again. One small step, and that's a great set for Landon.
He's very happy about that one. Next is going to be Christian Bartolini for the Ohio State Buckeyes. And things getting tense here as Penn State remains in the lead. They've been leading all day. So we'll see if Ohio State can try and narrow that gap a little bit more in the score.
As I said at the beginning of the broadcast, Penn State is a great team all the way till the end. They never give up. They keep fighting. They get gritty when they need to. So I don't anticipate this lead change being too easy for the Buckeyes.
Judges taking a little bit of time getting the score back for Landon Simpson. We saw the other scores come in a little bit quicker for Goncharik and Murray. Bartolini now getting set for his P-bars.
There's that Peters by Landon. Little replay as Bartolini gets going here. Just like Murray, he's not going to get credit for that whip it. You have to swing up to the handstand without bending your arms more than 90 degrees. A little short on that studs. Looking a little bit shaky here, but staying on so far. Couple of steps.
Landon Simpson's score comes in 13.6, the highest one so far. Penn State leading in the P-bar, and a great stick at the end for Bartolini.
Yeah, great landing there on that double pike. Everyone else you've seen today did the double front dismount.
Now it's going to be Ian Robles' time.
Buckeyes team over there in their little corral. Energy's looking a little bit low. It's going to be really important for their three captains to get these guys hyped back up and really fight till the end in this one.
Hewitt, Rockwood, and Nelson, the captains for the Ohio State Buckeyes. And then you were just saying it's going to be very big towards the end of this meet to try and hype their teammates up, and as they head into the high bar in a few exercises. Robble getting all chalked up.
One last check on the width before he gets going here. All right, here goes Raubel, the sophomore from Zurich, Switzerland. Ian very good on this event. I'm expecting a big score here for the Nittany Lions. Nice peach half there. First time we've seen that today. And a beautiful peach handstand. Great job keeping his arms straight there. And there's that whip it that we saw from those Ohio State guys as well. That skill right there in Makoots. Ian showing off the whole coat of points, just demonstrating every skill possible.
Definitely the most talented P-bar set that we've seen so far.
Looking a little bit gassed here at the end, just has to get this dismount down. And a huge stick for the Nittany Lions.
That was phenomenal. I'd be very surprised if that's not the highest score of the entire P-bar exercise. Coach Jepson's very happy about that one, nodding his head as he heads back to the broadcasting table. Penn State trying to pull away here.
And these fans are getting loud. They're proud to be Nittany Lions supporters. Here's that replay of Ian's dismount.
He was so hyped after that one. Screams, could hear him right through my headset. Nittany Lions currently in the lead by 8.2 points.
Yeah, Ohio State was making some good traction, bringing the score back after rings and vault, but now they're slipping away a little bit again.
Wow, 14.55 wobble. A massive score.
That's big for the Nittany Lions.
Now, Christian Grachowski for the Buckeyes.
Nice bobs are there. Haven't seen that yet today. Grachowski setting up on the end of the bars. Little leg split there on the DM in his step. He recovers well, settles back in. That skill right there called it to pelt.
Saw him touch the floor a little bit there. We'll see if the judges take away from that.
He didn't get very much rotation on that double pike, has to put his hands down and take the fall, unfortunately for the Buckeyes.
Giroux getting comfortable with his hands as he gets set next for the P-bars.
You can see him wiping the bars down. He's actually using honey, for those that don't know. Put honey on the bars before you add some chalk. It makes them nice and sticky when you're hanging down below the bars.
Very interesting tactic.
And every gymnast has their own like perfect mixture. You know, some people prefer more honey, less chalk. Some people prefer the bars to be all chalk, no honey. Some people just use water to strip the bars a little bit, get some of the excess chalk off of there.
Yeah, we're seeing Giroux spray a little bit of water on those bars as he's getting ready and comfortable. Needs a little bit more chalk on those bars, and currently Penn State with a 10-point lead. Grachowski finished with a 12.8 on the P-bars.
Giroux very comfortable here on parallel bars. He's a great parallel bar worker. He's got excellent basics, good lines, locks in every handstand. It's going to be a quick routine. He flows through his skills very nicely. .8 for Grachowski for the Buckeyes as Giroux salutes and walks up to the bars to get his routine started. And he's looking confident, chin up, chest out as he gets started.
I'm a little bit of time to set up the P-bars the way that he wanted them, so we'll see if that comes into his benefit.
This is where it's going to be really important, right here. Excellent peach Diamondov right there. Haven't seen that today. Pretty rare skill to see. Giant Diamondov now. Excellent work by Giroux, keeping his feet from hitting the floor. Great Dion there. Like I said before, this routine is going to be short and sweet. He flows through these skills super nice. But this routine is virtually perfect so far, as he does the dismount and one small hop. That's going to be a big score for the Nittany Lions.
He loves that one. Shakes the hand of his head coach, Jepson.
Gives him a big old hug.
Gotta love seeing all the chalk on the back of Jepson's suit. Means that he's getting a lot of support and hugs from his teammates. Rather and Giroux with the loud Penn State chants in the crowd. Haven't seen that yet today, and he is hyped with his family and friends in attendance. Saw a little bit of a salute after his vault exercise.
Yeah, his mom and sister came from Michigan to come support him and watch him compete here today. Kazuki Hayashi chalking up, next guy up for the Ohio State Buckeyes. And he's an excellent P-bar worker as well. I've known him for a long time. He's sharp, he's solid. Like Giroux, he's very flowy on this event.
Yeah, what we saw from Giroux just a moment ago is something that we haven't really seen from any of the gymnasts on the P-bars. Just really swinging very well, and you can just tell that's just from confidence and just being comfortable on the bars.
Yeah, Giroux definitely looking the most comfortable out of everyone to go so far. Hayashi, little tap of the ground with his foot, back toss there. Don't see that too often.
Giroux finished with a 14.2. Go ahead, Matt.
Oh, I was about to say, he did a straddled front 1 1/4 flip there. Haven't seen that today.
So Giroux and Robel with 2 scores in the 14s on the P-bars. Really trying to make that lead a lot bigger for the team.
Hayashi's dismount. Can't quite get the stick. Oh, just kidding. The judges raised the flag. They give him the stick.
Yeah, he almost missed that one. Couldn't quite land the right foot where he wanted to. As we get a recap of how the P-bars have been going for the Buckeyes, and Hayashi's hype after that. He got the landing from the judges on that one.
And that routine's going to be huge for the Buckeyes to turn this momentum around and get them feeling like they could really jump back in it.
Hayashi finished with a 13.7 score, the highest on his team.
And Ohio State is still trailing by just over 4 points on P-bars.
See Carnes chalking up bars as he gets set for his routine. Penn State with just over a 10-point lead.
Parallel bars for this kid. It's his best event, for sure.
Yeah, taking a look at last year's top individual performances, Josh Carnes, top 5 scores for the Penn State Nittany Lions, all coming within some of the later meets of the season, but let's see how Carnes is doing here this season on the P-bars.
Great recruits there, wasting no time getting through this routine. He's done this set so many times. He's so comfortable, so confident when he's up there. There's that Bobzar again, just floating through the air. Into the tapelt here, right up to the handstand, no pausing. And here comes the dismount, double front, sticks all the time. One little hop here today, but that's a great set by Josh Carnes.
Absolutely, love to see it. McCall getting hype after that routine from Carnes. Giroux Giroux showing a little bit of excitement to my left. After his night is finished. Did fantastic on all of his routines today. So he's going to be happy to celebrate that one with his family and friends in the crowd after. Now it's going to be Tyler Rockwood, the last E-bar gymnast to go. And then you might see Cameron Nelson go for his all-around after, as he is patiently waiting just underneath the high bar. Members of the staff adjusting some of the bars. Rockwood chalks up and gets ready for his exercise. And sometimes we see the springs come out for these P-bars. What is kind of the strategy between having that jump and not having that jump?
It really comes down to preference. So, like Giroux, he just jumped up straight to his upper arms from the ground. But we saw Ian starting on the springboard as he needed a little bit of extra bounce to get his mount going.
So a couple of Buckeyes use that spring in their routine.
Good peach there by Tyler. One small step. Nice front upright stutz there. Haven't seen that at all today. And a Makut's small pause on the bar, but very nice nonetheless. Rockwood looking very good as he moves through this set. This is a solid performance for Ohio State after a bit of a shaky start. Only the dismount left here. Let's see if he can stick it. A little bit of bounciness, couple steps off the dismount, but that's a solid set for the Buckeyes by Captain Rockwood.
That's going to do it for the Buckeyes. On the P-bars, Cameron Nelson going for his all-around. This score is not going to count towards the team's all-around score, but just for him personally.
Yeah, Cameron Nelson here just doing all around, making sure he hits all 6 events as he prepares to go to Winter Cup in Louisville, Kentucky in 2 weeks.
What an exciting event that is, the Winter Cup. A ton of different schools being represented in Louisville, Kentucky. What an atmosphere that's going to be. So if you have an opportunity to make it there for the Winter Cup, I would highly suggest it.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of really big gymnastics. It's going to be close as these guys try to get on the national team as we approach the Summer Olympics coming up later this year.
That's going to be in Paris, for those who don't know.
Penn State has 3 athletes going to Winter Cup: Michael Artlip, Josh Carnes, and Matt Cormier.
Cormier will be able to compete. He's not today due to an injury, but hopefully for a speedy recovery into the Winter Cup in just a few weeks.
Here goes Cameron Nelson. Oh my goodness, look at the strength by Cameron Nelson. Coots here. Little mistake on that Healy. Couldn't quite keep his balance, had to come down. Not gonna get credit for that. But as I said, this is just for him, personal practice, trying to get through all 6 events. He does not look comfortable up here right now.
Can anyone go and just do it for their personal preference, or does it have to be a specific person, or how does that normally work?
So all around is when you do all 6 events. Good dismount there by Cam. All around is when you do all 6 events. So if you're going to be taking an all around spot in any of the events here, you have to do all of them. So you can't just have one guy who's, Nate Warren, for example, he only does rings. They couldn't put him in an all-around spot on vault because he's not doing the rest of the events. He only did rings.
Yes. Great analysis there, Matt, and we appreciate the insight there. These teams are going to head to the final event, the high bar, coming up very shortly. The Nittany Lions in front, 341 to 331.
Nearly 11-point lead for the Nittany Lions going into the last event. Anything can happen at these meets, but it's not looking very good for Ohio State at the moment.
Gonna need some big performances from Thaxton, Harmon, Grahovsky, Hayashi, and Spencer. Those are the competitors for the Buckeyes. Goncharik, Artlip, Robel, and Karsikis. And also Carnes going to be the competitors for Penn State on the high bar.
And this is one of the events where Penn State really just shines. They're always able to come through and finish at the end, finish strong, and maintain a dominant performance all the way till the end. It's going to be tough for the Buckeyes here to bring this one back.
Shout out to my friends in the crowd supporting me from just across the mat. And all of you tuning in on Big Ten Plus, from Ethan Zaretsky and Matt Solom. We are very happy and appreciative to be giving you coverage of Big Ten gymnastics on Big Ten Plus. Number 6th ranked Ohio State Buckeyes visiting the Penn State Nittany Lions.
And here you can see the season average and season high. While the season averages are pretty equal between the two teams, Penn State looking like they have a little bit more potential to score higher. But as I said before, anything can happen right here.
Yeah, we're just going to talk about after the Winter Cup, Ohio State will face Michigan at home in Columbus. And then after the Winter Cup for the Nittany Lions, they will be hosting Springfield, as they've already faced Army and Nebraska, as well as other teams within the West Point and Navy Open. Getting out there on the high bar is Parker Thaxton, leading off this event.
She's waiting for the approval of the judges to get going here, make sure they're set up and ready to take their notes. And there's the salute, so we'll get right into it now.
Lift off from Kaz, and here we go on the high bar.
Nice in-bar endo there by Parker. And a great tuck half there. Very clean set so far.
Exactly what you need if you're the Buckeyes, trying to cut this lead down, or cut this deficit down rather.
Big pike Takashev there. Here comes the straddle. You're only allowed to do 2 skills of that type unless you connect them, which we will see some guys do here today.
There was the second one, and here ready for the dismount.
A big step backwards, but that's a good solid hit by Parker Thaxton.
Great start for the Ohio State Buckeyes. Starting off for the Penn State Nittany Lions on the high bar is Kasper Goncharik. What are some of the things Kasper is going to be looking for in his high bar?
We're going to be looking for all of his skills that come in close by the bar. He's going to want to make sure he hits those handstands as close as he can. Anything beyond 15 degrees deviated from perfectly vertical is going to cause deduction. And then when he's doing his releases, making sure he is playing it a little bit safe, making sure he'll catch that bar no matter what. Because I think the only way the Nittany Lions lose here is if they start to fumble and make some mistakes of their own.
Goncharik very composed as he salutes and heads to the mat for his high bar routine.
We're going to see some high-flying releases here by Kasper. Nice one arm there, called a Zuliman. There's one of those skills I talked about that were close to the bar. Gets very close to the handstand on that one. That was very nice. Into the releases. Huge pike. Tkachev there. Here comes the straddle. And he's really hitting these handstands nice on every skill. As he gets ready for the dismount, big half NF out. A small hop. The crowd's excited about that one.
Groncharic looking extremely confident coming off of that high bar. And he has a plethora of celebrations. He likes the clock one and showing off a lot more celebrations here as Penn State looking to hold on to that lead. Parker Thaxton for the Buckeyes finished with a 13,400 with an 8.6 execution score.
Yeah, and that's really good by Thaxton. That's a very, very clean routine. He didn't make any major mistakes, which is very good for the Buckeyes. But unfortunately for the Buckeyes, Casper responded very well with no mistakes of his own. 8.9 execution by Groncharic.
Finishing just a 100th point away from Thaxton, 13.5 for Groncharic.
And here's Jacob Harmon. Nice Tkachev there. There's the connection I was talking about.
First one that we've seen on the high bar today.
And there's the third type of the skill. That one called a Piatti. But if he did not connect those first two Tkachevs, he would not be able to do that Piatti. A little close there on the dismount, but he sticks. That's a great set for the Buckeyes as he flips his hair. Looks like he forgot to salute the judges. They might take a couple tenths off for those steps that he walked off the mat for not saluting, but he's excited. All smiles going back to the Ohio State bench.
And as we're in the last exercise, every point counts here, so definitely want to be careful on both sides. If you're the Nittany Lions, definitely don't want to slip out of that lead that they so graciously have had all afternoon. And if you're the Buckeyes, definitely do not want to cost your own team some points as you're looking to kind of catch up to the Nittany Lions in the last exercise.
Here's a replay of Jacob Harmon, who we just saw.
And what a great stick here. Look at that.
Solid, no movement at all. It's exactly what you want to see.
He kind of semi-saluted the judges there before walking off the mat. But now for the Nittany Lions, it's going to be Michael Artlett. It's very interesting how these gymnasts hop on the bar opposite-handed. They kind of foregrip and then back grip the bar after kind of flipping their hands comfortably.
Good Tkachev there by Michael Artlett.
Harmon finished with a 13.50.
Artlett fighting to get that jam over. Almost came out the wrong way, but he got it under control. Nice talk to handstand. And here he goes for the dismount. Will we see a stick out of Artlett? And we do, and he's excited.
That's his second stick of the evening. Artlett being very comfortable and showing his confidence in Rec Hall.
And these dismounts on high bar, they're one of the easiest to stick for these athletes, so we should be seeing a lot of stuck dismounts here. Ohio State coming into this dual competition with the goal to stick 2 dismounts on each event. Already halfway there on high bar.
Donovan Hewitt getting the OHIO chant for the Buckeye faithful in the crowd, trying to get things going. Now Christian Grachowski on the H-bar. Harmon finished with a 13.950. Still waiting for Artlett's score.
Christian Grachowski, good start to his set so far. Nice Tkachev. And another one laid out this time. a little bit of an arch, and he had to flex his toes, so the judge is going to take some points off for that. But really just getting back onto that bar after you let go is the most important thing. Wowzers. I've never seen that. It looked like he had like one hand rip off the bar as he started twisting with one hand still on the bar. That's an interesting technique.
And that might have been the result of him not being able to fully stick that landing. A little baby step after the dismount. As a loud "We Are" chant comes from the crowd, all the way from the top deck. Not sure what letter row that is. Almost could be Z, but gotta love the chants coming from both teams here. Getting for the high bar is Ian Robble. Artlip's score came up on the screen. It's going to be a 13,200 for Artlip, finishing with an 8.6 execution score.
Here goes Ian Robble, very consistent on this event. This is where those Swiss lines I talked about earlier are going to come into play. Ian very solid on this event, due to his upbringing in Switzerland and the coaching styles that they have out there.
How do they kind of differentiate from some of the ones that people might be learning in the United States, if you were able to, kind of explain that?
I think it mostly comes down to, in the United States, coaches are often just looking for gymnasts to build difficulty, and they don't put as much of a focus on just basics and being perfect technically. So Ian very clearly has a very solid technical foundation, which allows him to do more difficult skills.
Look at that. That was something that we haven't seen so far.
Little hop full before they dismount.
See how Robble finishes.
Little straight leg landing.
Not able to fully stick it there, but crowd gives him a big round of applause after his night is now finished. Grahovsky's score comes in at 13,300. Chants kind of ramping up here. Go ahead.
Yeah,
Matt.
the Ohio State bench bringing out that OHIO chant, trying to keep the energy up all the way till the end. As Kazuki Hayashi chalks up here, gets ready for high bar. We're going to see a very cool skill by him. He's going to let go, do a double backflip over the bar, and then catch it again.
And that's not something that any of the other gymnasts do here, right?
No one else has done it yet today. Kazuki's coach in club gymnastics, Jason Furr, he has one of the best Kovacs, is what we call it, that double backflip. And Kazuki really has that same style of Jason. Nice talk there. Looks like he's got his hand a little funky, but holds on. Oh, the Coleman, he adds a full twist to it.
Wow.
Here's the Kovacs. Huge. And that's excellent execution by Kazuki Hayashi.
It's a beautiful move there.
Lots of difficult releases here for Hayashi. Making him look easy.
Yeah, a lot of upper body strength, especially in the shoulders for Hayashi. And here comes the dismount. Hayashi
stick.
Yeah, great stick there by Hayashi. Exactly what you're looking for if you're the Buckeyes. Trying to cut back at this deficit that the Buckeyes do have. Leading currently in the high bar at just over a point.
Ian Robble, 12.6 for him.
Now Oxili Karsikis chalking up for his high bar routine.
Next from Penn State, Oxili Karsikis.
As the teammates call him AK, the all-arounder, freshman, 5'4", from Finland.
Great Coleman there. We just saw that from Kazuki Hayashi. Oxelli answers. Beautiful Tkachev connection there. Little bent arms on the giant out, but not too bad. And a great layout Tkachev.
That was a move that we haven't seen. What was that one?
It's called a jam. So he came out the wrong side there. You want to make sure you go over the bar. We saw Artlip kind of stop in that handstand, fighting to get it to go the right way. And a big stick there for Oxelli. Finishing strong after that small mistake.
Hayashi's score comes in as a 13,650. Second highest score on the high bar today. Highest score coming from Jacob Harmon, also from Ohio State. So Buckeyes doing as much as they possibly can on the high bar. Try and pull closer to this deficit that they currently are in. Now for the Buckeyes, Caden Spencer.
Caden Spencer, phenomenal on the high bar here. As he jumps up to get his routine going. Should see a lot of big releases here too. That one called a Yamawaki, haven't seen that one today. Not very common in gymnastics these days. And there's that Piatti again, connected with a layout Tkachev. Wow. He is putting on a release masterclass right here. Triple connection.
Karsikis comes with a 12,500. 7.7 on the execution score for Karsikis.
Good talk there by Spencer. Into the one-arm giant as he gets ready to gear up for the dismount. And a big stick by Caden Spencer, keeping the train going for Ohio State.
Yeah, that's 3 sticks in a row for the Buckeyes. So, like I just alluded to, doing all they can really to get as many points and cut back at this Penn State Nittany Lion lead. As Carnes now gets ready for his H-bar.
Carnes going to be the last competitor here for Penn State. And then we'll have one more set by Cameron Nelson for that all-around score. Nittany Lion gymnasts going arm over shoulder here to the left of the broadcasting booth as they get ready for the last exercise of the late afternoon. Josh Carnes, who does such a good job on the high bar. Excellent Suleiman there. Great talk. We're going to see huge Tkachev here. Look at the height. He's so small, but he's able to generate so much power by bouncing that bar. There's the connection.
Some of the fans in utter shock here, putting their hands above their mouths. Love what they're seeing from Carnes.
Good jam there by Josh. Into the inverted giants. I never did those. My shoulders aren't good enough, but it does not look comfortable.
Carnes got some powerful shoulders, and here comes the dismount, and he sticks
Nice
the landing.
kick out, put some flair on it at the end, and he's excited.
And as we get set for Cameron Nelson's all around, this is not going to count towards the team, and looks like as it stands, the Nittany Lions are going to take this one here in Happy Valley.
And I think they're going to put up a season-high team score here.
We'll wait and see what Carnes gets, but gotta love to see the performance that the Nittany Lions put on this afternoon. Ohio State finishes just under 400 points, 399, 200 to be exact, and the Nittany Lions finish with 407, 500. Which, like you had just said, is going to be their season high. So great performance from the Nittany Lions tonight.
The Nittany Lions did a great job of bouncing back after their loss at Nebraska last weekend. So it's good to see them out here, showing up at home, putting up a big score, doing some really good gymnastics. Nelson now in the all-around spot. Huge Coleman there.
You just gotta love all teammates from both sides giving support to everybody. I mean, everyone wants to see each other do well. I mean, ultimately, as much as people compete in the conference of the Big Ten, everyone wants to do well on a national level. So Cameron Brown, one of those gymnasts for the Ohio State Buckeyes that some of the Nittany Lions look up to very highly because of his performance in the Olympics as he gets ready for his dismount.
Triple backflip. Very unique dismount there. Haven't seen that one all day, but he loves the triples.
Josh Carnes finished with a 13,800 on his H-bar, and that will do it. Teams lining up to shake hands after today's meet.
I just want to touch real quickly on what you said about guys from the Nittany Lions cheering for the Buckeyes and vice versa. The gymnastics community is so small that as you're growing up, you really get to know all of these guys, even when you go to different colleges. So that sportsmanship and that camaraderie never leaves, even as you get into the NCAA and move beyond.
As both teams are lining up right in front of the floor to salute all the fans that came out to Rec Hall to support them tonight on a phenomenal late evening of gymnastics. Stay tuned as we get ready for today's awards ceremony here on Big Ten Plus. We appreciate everyone tuning in to today's coverage of Big Ten gymnastics. Ethan Zaretsky and Matt Sulam on the call for the Penn State Nittany Lions hosting the Ohio State Buckeyes. As you see your unofficial results on the screen, Nittany Lions doing very well on the vault and the P-bars today. Buckeyes outlasting the Nittany Lions on the vault. But what really stood out to you in today's meet, Matt?
I think what stood out for me most was that Penn State was able to just get lots of hits. They didn't have many falls. Ohio State started off a little bit shaky. They were trying to dig themselves out of a hole the whole time, whereas Penn State really just started strong and finished strong the whole time. Huge P-bar score there by the Nittany Lions. That's going to be a new season high, beating their previous of 67.35. So P-bar is absolutely a big part of this team's success today.
On the pommel horse as well, just beating their season high by 800th of a score.
Yeah, just an 8/10 difference between their previous season high and the new high they posted today.
Rob Bell receiving an award after his heroic performance.
This is the Gene Whetstone Award. At the end of every meet, they single out one athlete to receive this award who really pulled through for the team and was super important to the success.
And it's got the Nittany Lions shrine on the plaque, so a huge accomplishment for Rob. Nelson getting a round of applause from all the fans here in Rec Hall.
Is Ethan Dick from Penn State. Your winner from Vince with a score of 14,200 is Cameron Nelson of Ohio State.
You get all the selected leaders here on the left of your screen from the floor exercise.
Your winner with a score of 14,500 is Michael Giroux of Penn State.
Michael Giroux taking the vault title.
Your winner for parallel bars with a score of 14,550 is Ian Raubel.
Ian Raubel going to take the parallel bar title here today with a score of 14.45 or 55, I think.
Is Jacob Harmon of Ohio State.
And Jacob Harmon of the Buckeyes able to pull away with the high bar title today.
Again, we thank everybody for tuning in to men's gymnastics coverage on Big Ten Plus. Very happy that everyone can tune in this Saturday evening coverage.
Ohio State official score, 399.3. Penn State's official score, 407.5.
Like we just talked about, a season high for the Nittany Lions as they all salute the Wear White crowd in Rec Hall, the historic Rec Hall, as I should mention.
And then we hear Matt Underhill's dad for the Nittany Lions starting that "We Are" chant.
So again, we thank you for tuning in to Big Ten's coverage, Big Ten Plus's coverage of men's gymnastics at Rec Hall. Again, from Ethan Zaretsky and Matt Sullum, thank you and have a great rest of your weekend.
Thank you. Please welcome